Happy Thursday, Ann Brothers.
Happy Thursday, drinking on a school night.
I know. Bar.
Genny, you're frozen. Maybe I'm frozen. It's very windy here. I don't know. If you're still out there, everybody, hi. I'm not sure what happened to my sister. She seems to be frozen, but maybe I'm the one that's frozen. Genny, hello? Maybe I'll leave the broadcast and then maybe Genny can bring me back. I'm going to do that. Hang on. Hi, everybody. I'm back.
We're back. We made it. Sorry, everybody.
I wasn't sure if I lost you or you lost me. So I was like, all right, I'm going to leave and see if I can come back.
I lost you, and since I have like the official boss device that that lost us both. Sorry, you guys, that we got interrupted. The good news is we're back. I was just talking about the fact that it's Bar Thursday, and now that school has started, and this week has gone worse than I could have ever imagined, we might be drinking more than we should. So I'm going to tell Berube we're back. All right. So yes, Berube, I know we're back. It's good to be back. Berube, you were there this week. You might be enjoying a Fuzzy Navel as well, because that's the drink of the week. Because the movie this week for Bar Thursday is the movie Hot Fuzz, and Anne thought it would be good to have Fuzzy Navels along with that, which I think is a brilliant idea because it tastes just like high school.
It totally does. It tastes just like my sweet, sweet youth.
We're discussing.
Gross.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, Ruby, I hear you. Lots of alcohol. Yeah, and it's funny because I didn't really drink at all in high school. I didn't. I was not a partier in high school. I waited until my freshman year of college to get drunk for the first time. And it probably was either like a wine cooler or a Fuzzy Navel because, it's kind of that starter drink, that training wheel drink. So. Oh, Bruce, that's awesome that you're a fan of Hot Fuzz. I know, right? It's such a great movie. It's my happy movie. Yeah. So, and would you like to tell us more about the Fuzzy Navel?
Genny, I would love to tell us more about the Fuzzy Navel. And so I picked this drink because it was Fuzz, Hot Fuzz, Fuzzy Navel. But then yes. I learned through my research, see, we have the Fuzzy Navel here. This is a very exotic looking it makes it look much more complicated than the drink really is. It is remarkably simple. So simple, high school students can make it. So the Fuzzy Navel, you need 3 ounces of peach schnapps, which if you leave in your freezer for like 6 hours will freeze solid. I learned that today. It also requires 3 ounces of orange juice. So even though it's not a very complicated drink, it does pack a lot of booze. Of course, some ice, and then an orange for garnish. I didn't use an orange. I used maraschino cherries, which I promptly ate because that was my favorite part of the drink.
Me too. See, and this is the type of drink that lends itself well to maraschino cherries because, yeah.
Because surprisingly, they're not as sweet as the drink.
Yes, which says something about the drink. Aaliyah Berube is with us, and she's talking about the fact that she rented Hot Fuzz from Blockbuster 23 times. My grandma refused to buy it for me. Grandma, what's up with that? Seriously.
Really?
The girl is telling you she wants Hot Fuzz. Come on, girl. Get it together. So.
Exactly.
23. Hey, Ann, do you remember Blockbuster?
I do remember Blockbuster. I remember that was like a Friday night thing to do when before, you did something cool, you went to Blockbuster and hung out there for hours trying to find the new release that was in. It's like, I think the only reason I saw Blair Witch Project was because, it was one of the few new releases that was there.
I actually used to work at a Blockbuster. I worked at a Blockbuster in Highlands Ranch, Colorado my first year teaching. So, yeah. Or was it when I was, no, it was my first year teaching. Yep. So,
pretty cool job. Almost
Indeed.
as cool as working at a record store at the time.
Oh, God, that's right. Record stores. Those were a thing, too. Now, there's like a couple of record stores in Minneapolis, and they actually have Record Store Day in Minneapolis for all the hipsters out there. So, that's awesome.
Well, there you go.
Ruby, your grandmother's right. Hot Fuzz is rated R. And
it is.
Ruby says, I got her condoms for that Christmas. Good gift. You got to keep grandma safe. That's all I know.
Exactly.
Isn't like
exactly.
Statistically, aren't retirees like, don't they have the highest percentage of STDs for any age group ever?
Yeah, even higher than high school students, which is impressive.
Oh. So yeah,
exactly.
Leah, way to look out for grandma. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell us some of the history of said Fuzzy Navel.
Well, I was glad that to learn this. The Fuzzy Navel was invented in the 1980s. So, it's funny because Hot Fuzz, has a lot of inspiration from cop movies and cop buddy movies from the late 1980s and early 1990s. So actually, it's a historically accurate drink as well for our theme. So it was invented in the 1980s. And what drink could sum up the 1980s better than a Fuzzy Navel? You got that bar filled with neon and everybody with their flock of seagulls hair and giant shoulder pads and
when they're Don Johnson outfits.
Don Johnson outfits, exactly. Awesome. So it was invented by a famous bartender named Ray Foley, who was the founder of Bartender Magazine. Remember magazines too? So anyway,
those were a thing.
Yeah, Ray Foley, founder of Bartender Magazine, inventor of the Fuzzy Navel. You wonder if Tom Cruise used him as an inspiration in the movie Cocktail, because he sounds like just the sort of dude that you would want to base your character off of.
Absolutely.
Anywho,
no.
So the legend goes that Ray was slicing an orange when some anonymous guy, isn't it always like some random guy, says that he could still smell the fuzz of the peach schnapps through the orange juice. Ray noticed the word navel on the orange and the cocktail was born. Very inspiring.
That is super inspiring. Right? I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything about this drink, and that's part of the reason I believe it tastes like high school, because I was a high school student in the 80s. So yeah, everything about it is because it was that new cool hipster drink. So yeah. Aaliyah, I'm curious as to what video should I send the video? The video of what? The video of you giving your grandma condoms? Because I don't want to see that. We got Jan Stauffer with us. Jan Stauffer, also a fellow teacher, also in need of a drink. Yep. So yeah. Anyway, I hear you, Jan, for real.
Yeah, and just have some. If you have orange juice, you can put any. It seems as though you can put any alcohol in orange juice, and it's some sort of cocktail. So
yes. And again, I feel like I'm doing something good for myself because I am drinking something with vitamin C.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I think that this should be the new breakfast drink. Instead of mimosas or Bloody Marys, it should be the Fuzzy Navel.
Yeah, why isn't it the Fuzzy Navel? Because I have to admit, I do think this is yummy, and I would drink this for breakfast. And
why not?
I'm not saying much right now because I might drink almost anything for breakfast right now.
Right.
Yeah. Still want that margarita machine in the teacher's lounge. So there. Well. And brothers, well done on the history and the makings of the Fuzzy Navel. Again, simple, delicious, a little sweet, but that's okay. We still like it. It's delicious.
Exactly.
So, yes.
What else we got?
Well, exactly. So let's go ahead and talk about our movie. Ooh, look, here's Leah. She's got another comment. I think it's, I think it would be an excellent. Ooh, margarita. That's a nice choice, too. Indeed. All right, so let me do a quick share screen with our movie review. And I don't know what it is. This movie just pops up into my head all the time as something I want to watch, or I'll hear something and I'll be like, because there's just so many little lines in this that I absolutely love. So This movie came out in 2007. It is Hot Fuzz. It is an action comedy. You can see the two co-stars here, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. And it's just one of those movies that this was the follow-up movie to Shaun of the Dead. So these guys did Shaun of the Dead a few years before that. Lots of fanfare for Shaun of the Dead. This was kind of their follow-up, though it was, there's a lot of fanfare with this movie. It didn't do particularly well at the box office, but has become a cult favorite. And I think part of it is that the genre of action comedy is maybe not necessarily everybody's thing, but I just think it's a great movie. So here's the premise. The premise is Constable Nicholas Angel is an outstanding London police officer, except he's too outstanding. The first part of the movie takes you through a little montage of his awesomeness and how just outstanding he is, and so we get his history of outstandingness, and when we join him in the present, where he's being called into his superior's office and being told that he's being promoted to sergeant and then transferred to a small town, and then Nicholas Angel disagrees, so they bring in the next level up, and then they bring in essentially the chief of police, and they're like, dude, you've been making us look bad, we want you out of here. And so off he goes, and there's a great scene with his ex-girlfriend, which is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, where he's getting ready to leave, and he just wants to kind of close things up with his ex-girlfriend, and it's all done. It's a crime scene, and so she's head to toe in her crime scene overall, so you can't see her at all. The only thing you see is her eyes, and she's got a big mask on. So you have this really emotional scene that takes place with him, and then this completely masked girlfriend. It's genuinely funny, and that's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. But anyway, he gets to Sanford, Gloucester, which is this awesome, bucolic, lovely village of the year sort of place. And by all appearances, it seems like it'd be an ideal place to live and work. And he's sort of the fish out of water because he is, he's very OCD about his policies and procedures. And he is, he does not he's black and white. You follow the rules, and he's sort of the fish out of water. And this turns into a movie about murder and mayhem and other fun stuff. And it's fantastic. So here are a few shots from the movie, and probably the thing, if you look in the center thing, you'll see this. It just says "for the greater good," and then in parentheses, "the greater good." That's a running theme throughout the end of the movie, and it's just freaking awesome. So, yeah. Here we go. So I'm going to stop real quick. Aaliyah and Jan are having a pretty good conversation. Let's see. I'm reading. Okay. Aaliyah's with us. She likes when they're in the. It's like I'm there with. Oh yes, you are with us, Ruby. It's true. Simon Pegg. Janice still talking about Irish whiskey. Ooh, Irish whiskey, delicious. Sorry, I got distracted by the commentary today because it's good stuff. Yeah. Ooh, Point Break or Bad Boys 2. It's funny because a few months ago, Joe and I watched Hot Fuzz, and then we followed it up by watching Point Break.
It's terrible. It's so
unwatchable.
Terrible.
It's unwatchable. Oh my god, it's bad. The best part is they just remade it a couple of years ago.
I know. It's like, well, let's take this completely terrible movie and put millions of dollars in it to remake it. Totally. And it didn't even do nearly as well as the first one, which is terrible.
No. And if you don't know what we're talking about, Point Break and Bad Boys 2 figure prominently in this movie. And so it's a lot of fun because we'll jump into why I like this movie. And one of the reasons I like it is the fact that it is a running homage to those action movies of the 80s and 90s. So your Lethal Weapons, your Point Breaks, your Bad Boys. So anyway, this movie was directed by Edgar Wright, who doesn't get enough credit for being a really great director. He directed the Cornetto trilogy, which is Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End. He just directed a movie called Baby Driver, which is a great little action movie. As far as Hot Fuzz, I love this movie because it's English funny. And I do believe that the English are funnier than Americans, and there's so much great English funny in this. It's hard to keep up with, and that's one of the reasons I continually watch this movie, is because there's so many little bits of dialogue that I end up catching, or little innuendos, that it's just funny. This movie takes its time getting into the story. They do a great job of developing Nicholas Angel's character, so we know him very well before he gets to Sanford, and we get to know him, and that he is really a cool dude. And it's a long time before the first murder takes place. It's a good 40-45 minutes into the movie before you think this movie's going to go one way, and then it takes this turn. You're like, whoa, what just happened? The action, especially at the end, is way over the top. Again, it's a continuation of the Cornetto trilogy. And if we look at this picture right here, there they are at the very top picture. They're eating their Cornettos. And that's, again, is a running theme in all three movies. Not so much in the third movie. They make a little nod to it. But again, classic homage to those movies of the 80s and 90s. It's very sharply written. The Romeo and Juliet scene is probably a very close second to my favorite scenes, because that is fantastic, because it's a very badly it's a bad interpretation of the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet with Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes.
Poison.
Dun, 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 dun. Love me, love
me. Say that you love me.
Yeah. Poison. So yeah, awesome. Fire a gun to go in the air. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, and I also like the fact that there's a lot of that classic bromance in it. Like the scene where they go back to Danny's house and watch the movies, and it has that, there's this sexual tension that comes up in these, which pops up in these bromance movies, especially in Point Break, where you're like, these guys might actually be into each other a little bit. So
exactly. Shut up and kiss. Shut up and kiss.
Yes. And so I love that scene, because I'm like, oh my God, they captured that energy so brilliantly in that scene. And really all Danny wants to do is just watch Point Break and Bad Boys 2. So the last reason I love this movie is that the cast is amazing. There are so many big names in this cast. Of course, you have Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, who have really made their blazed the trail for themselves in these movies. But Olivia Colman is in this. She just won an Oscar a couple years ago, who is maybe one of the greatest little parts. She's got, I think, the best lines in this, because they're all just dripping with sexual innuendo. Timothy Dalton is in it. He plays the villain in this. Jim Broadbent, who is, I think, just underrated and fabulous in this. Rory McCann, he plays Michael, the Hound. If this is the guy that played the Hound in Game of Thrones. Bill Nighy, who he shows up in all of the Cornetto trilogy movies. Steve Coogan, Martin Freeman, Peter Jackson has an uncredited cameo in it. He's when Nicholas gets stabbed by Father Christmas. He's Father Christmas. I know. And of course, Kate Blanchett plays Janine, Nicholas Angel's ex-girlfriend, and so all you see are her eyes. But yeah, it's Kate Blanchett who just decided to do it, a fun uncredited role. So again, just fabulous. Yes, it was a bromance, Jan, before it was even a word. I know. Now it's a cool, hip, and trendy word. But when we were watching, Lethal Weapon and all these, they were totally bromancing it. We didn't even know it yet. So your phone is spelled innuendo. I think there's 2 N's in there. Is it 1 N, 2? What did I put? It's 2. It's 2 N's. So, and then quick lesson, and feel free, Anna, pipe in anything that you want as far as why you enjoy it. We're going to get to your slide in a minute
oh yes.
I think there are some very important lessons when watching the movie Hot Fuzz, and they are as follows. As we find out, things are not always as they seem, as we find out in this movie, because you have this lovely, quaint English countryside little village, and in reality, it's a murderous trap. As Nicholas Angel states, there is always something going on as long as you're looking for it. Stupid action movies are a great way to switch off. Sometimes the greater good sucks. Farmers do have a lot of guns. The English are simply funnier than we are. They're just funnier. And that's because they've been around longer. Americans are so high strung about everything because, we're only a couple hundred years old. We're like, yeah, I'm still awesome. Bam, 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 bam. And the English are like, nah, you're not. Pat us on the head. It's the little pumpkins we are. Small towns are always terrifying, and that never, there's so much baggage in a small town that nobody ever talks about. It's amazing.
And Jenny and I know that because we were raised in a small town, so we know exactly how terrifying small towns can be.
Yep. Lots of unspoken icky. Yeah. So anyway, taking notes is an important life skill. You know, Nicholas Angel talks about the most important thing he has is his notepad. And I think you added these last few. I'm going to let you take over those.
Well, again, it goes along with your taking notes is an important life skill. So you always have a pen. Always have a pen. You never know when you're going to need to write something down. And I don't know, everybody's like, I'm just going to put it on my phone. No, have a pen. It's like having a paper map. Just have it.
No, I'm gonna. In fact, real quick, I gotta show you something, Ann, because this is what I pretty much have in my pocket all the time, Because you never know when you're gonna look. It's got pen right there, and it's got all my notes and little thoughts, and that's an important thing to have.
Exactly.
Tiny notebook. Yes.
Tiny notebook. Yes. Take the dessert whenever it is offered. There's scene after scene of Nicholas Angel being offered dessert and declining it. I am of the always take the dessert.
Well, yeah, because he turned down that Black Forest Gato. I'm like, man, that looks delicious.
What's wrong with you? And then finally, cranberry juice is only for UTIs. You should never go into a bar and get a cranberry juice.
Yeah, ew. Why are you in a bar? Why you just go to the grocery store and then go home and drink your cranberry juice?
Departed. All I drank was
cranberry juice. Yes. Duncan was saying it's like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed. He only drank cranberry juice. So, anyway.
Ruby wanted to remind us about the birthdays line. When's your birthday? February 20th. What year? Every year.
Every year.
It's true. So yeah. All right. So, Ann, you had some thoughts on why Ann likes the movie Hot Fuzz. Hit us with that.
Well, I liked it for all the reasons you like it. There wasn't a reason that you put down, I was like, yep, I totally agree with all this. It does make me want to watch Point Break and Bad Boys 2, even though I really don't want to. So my heart says, hey, let's watch those movies. But my head says, no, don't watch those movies.
And it's trap. It's a trap. Like when your cat lays over on your back and they're like, pet my belly. And then you do, and they're like, what? Well, it's the same by watching Point Break or Bad Boys 2 after watching this movie. Don't do it. It's a trap. Yeah.
So I watched Point Break when I was like in high school or whenever it came out, because it came out on video. I'm like, okay, terrible. I never watched Bad Boys 2 because I never saw Bad Boys 1 and I didn't want to get lost in the movie and not know what was happening.
That's hilarious.
I know, right?
In terms of plot, which is more complicated, Inception or Bad Boys 2?
Yeah. So, so don't get pulled into the trap, even though you're going to want to, because they keep referencing them all the time. You're like, well, there must be something about them that makes them special. No. What's special is Hot Fuzz.
Yes.
Of course, I love The Greater Good. It's like the greater good.
Greater
good. I always feel better after watching this movie. It's just fun. You can't you can't watch this movie and not laugh. And every time you watch it, you laugh at different places. You laugh at the same places you laughed before, and then you laugh at different places because you just get it, or it finally clicks, or you're like, oh yeah, that is funny. And then it's kind of like watching a Bugs Bunny cartoon. I mean, it's funny on its surface, but so much that's funny about it is as you start to understand and recognize its sly humor, its innuendos, and its social commentary. So, when you're a kid, you're watching a Bugs Bunny cartoon and you're laughing at the slapstick stuff, which this has. And then you're watching your parents laugh at stuff that you're not laughing at, and you're like, why are they laughing at that? That's not funny. But as you get older and watch it over and over again, you're like, oh, now I know why that's funny. Same thing with Hot Fuzz. You watch it and it's funny. There's a lot of slapstick. It's over the top, but then you keep getting more and more out of it. So it's a tiny bit like a Coen Brothers movie. It's like you just have to keep going back to it because there's always something else.
Something, and like you talk about like the social commentary. The scene at the end where they're in the grocery store trying to capture Timothy Dalton's character, and so they managed to vanquish Yarp, Michael's character, and then they vanquish the guys in the meat department,
With the knives.
Yes, but then here come the guys, like the cart guys, and they're like throwing fruit at them, and they all turn around like as these kids are throwing fruit, and they just start firing at them. And you're just like, oh my god, they're throwing fruit, like, boom. Again, just saying. So
Just saying.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, yeah, this is a really just a fine movie, and again, the end is the last 20 minutes of this movie is just solid shoot 'em up, and it's funny because they literally drop every sort of action movie cliche in terms of the dialogue, in terms of they're leaping through the air, shooting two guns, they're sliding and shooting. There's the homage to Michael Bay. They're driving and shooting. There's an homage slow motion helicopter shot with the helicopter coming over their heads, which is right out of every Michael Bay movie ever. Yep. So, in fact, you're watching a Michael Bay movie when you just start counting your helicopter shots, get into the double digits. Helicopter shots, slow motion shots, women doing nothing, and the flag waving in slow motion. So,
there you go.
Michael Bay movie.
Michael Bay movie. It's really loud and a little confusing. So
a little confusing because you're like, it's so loud and so much flashing. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Wait, Ruby's still with us. If you watch the movies, I will make kettle corn if you let me join you. Okay.
Okay.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Did you see the COVID toilet paper video? Good stuff. I did not.
I did not either.
Yeah, maybe we should do that on Sunday. We should just watch videos that people tell us to watch and then comment on them. I don't know.
That sounds like a great idea.
It's easier than doing any sort of real work, so let's keep doing that. Yay! So I don't know. I kind of feel like we should do something smart on Sunday because it's Sunday and we did this today. So
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah,
Sunday's such a long way away.
It feels like a long way away, even though it will be here like tomorrow, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So, well, I think that's it for today then, Ann Brothers. We talked about Fuzzy Navels. We talked about the movie Hot Fuzz, which is a great action comedy. I think Starz has it, so if you have Starz subscription, you can get it. Otherwise, you have to pay for it. So
yeah, I was gonna say Starz has it, or you have to, get it on Prime for $3.99 because that's what I did. It was totally worth it.
So worth it. We actually bought it, so it was like it's worth $8. So there we go. Oh, she did post. You put okay. Very good. Wiping is smart. Okay.
Ooh, totally is. Shouldn't have to say that. Should just be a given.
Ruby, I'm going to encourage you to watch the show Alone on Netflix because, or I think it's on season 1 is on Prime because the guy was talking about like which wood is the best for toilet paper, and I was like, ooh, that's rough. Literally.
Literally.
Wait, Jan says we can do silly stuff on Sunday because we're off on Monday. That's a good point. All right. We don't have to be all serious. I forgot it's Labor Day this weekend. So
yeah.
Or you can rent Ruby's. She's got her copy of Hot Fuzz, her Blockbuster version that she never returned. Wow. You must have got that at the end. They're like, fine, keep your movie. We don't care about your late fees.
She's hardcore.
Super hardcore.
Now we know why they went bankrupt. And their lousy business plan.
And they had really overpriced snacks. Ridiculous.
Yeah, they thought they were a movie theater or something.
Yeah, no, they were not. Oh, I hated working there. Whew, the things we do for money. Hey. Like teaching, for instance. Okay, good. All right. That's a great question, Jan. Ruby, is your copy of Hot Fuzz VHS? Or is it, what's the other one? Beta. That's the really old ones. Yeah. So
it shouldn't matter. She's a public school teacher. You got to have access to a VCR. That's the only time you ever see them now is in public schools.
That's true. We do have VCRs at Forest Lake Area Middle School. So
yeah. So
no, Jan. According to Brubes, it is not a VHS, which probably means it's DVD. So do they even have DVD players anymore? Because it's like Blu-ray or Spotify or whatever. So
no, just stream.
Stream it. All right, you guys, we are out of here. Thanks for watching. This is the part where I'm supposed to tell you to subscribe, share. There's one more. Like, that's it. Like, subscribe, share. Like. I just want you to like me. You like me. You really like me.
Please like me.
Please. We're here to entertain you. So there you go. And entertain each other mostly because we never get to see each other.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm really here to entertain myself because I think I'm pretty funny. So
yeah. Good job. Good job, Ann Brothers. Right up.
Good job, Genny Brothers.
Cool. We will see you guys Sunday. Thanks for joining us. And make yourself a fuzzy navel. Simple and delicious. You don't even need to be a bartender to make a there. There you go. So. All right, you guys. Peace out, Ann Brothers.
Peace out, Genny Brothers. Bye.
Bye.